So I'm here with Andreeas Binder. He's gonna be fighting at the Levels Fight League. He's gonna be fighting for the lightweight title. He had a fantastic performance against Chris Stringer, who was a very, very experienced opponent at welterweight. He's dropped down to lightweight for this one. So I want to thank you for your time. How are you, and what made you make the decision to drop to lightweight?
What's the crack, Dave? Yeah, I'm all good, and thanks for having me on again.
Pleasure.
It's just all the lads were you're just so big, man. At welter, like, you know what I mean. If I was knocking people out at welterweight, when I was giving away like maybe nearly 10 kilos on top, I think I'll be just a different animal at a lightweight. And the thing is, it's just cutting down to 77 was very easy for me. Like, I've never struggled, I've never missed weight, and was always kind of like weighing in 75, 76 and a half. Like, I was always underweight. So yeah, I thought, look, it's the first time I'm actually gonna pick up, kind of step it up a notch, and actually suffer a little bit making weight. Do you know what I mean? But I know I'll be evenly matched now with everyone else, and there'll be no stones unturned.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good, because I looked, obviously, from the start of your amateur career, and you just told me as well, you used to fight from light heavyweight, novice, middleweight, welterweight, and obviously now you're going to go to, because as you see, when you go up through the levels in, obviously, Levels Fight League that you're at, and in different places in Europe, this is happening more regularly. It's because there's so much more at stake. So obviously it's time that you do it. And then how are you finding the weight cut so far? Obviously you have a nutritionist on board. You want to talk about him and how he's helped you on this camp, especially?
Yeah, so you said it yourself. I started off like novice MMA, and I was fucking fighting at 93 kilos light heavyweight. But yet again, I didn't know anything about weight cuts and blah blah. I was kind of just winging it and stuff. Like, I remember the first 10 or 11 amateur fights, I was just kind of like starving myself trying to make middleweight and stuff like that. Like, I just didn't, there was nothing there. Like, but there's so much science behind it. Like, and then at the start of this year, around no, sorry, at in I think it was the 15th or 14th of December. I remember I started my camp because I knew I'd be fine around February, and I got Stephen Floyd on board. He's my nutritionist. I got him on board, and I was like, right, I'm fine. I'm fine in March. It was scheduled to be a lightweight, but then I didn't, like, there were some complications and bullshit like that with a promotion, so I ended up taking this fight on LFL at welterweight. Chris took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. I took it on 2 weeks' notice as well against him. So I was like, you know what, let's fucking meet a welterweight, even though I knew he fought a lightweight before.
Yeah.
And that was my plan anyway. I was going to drop down to lightweight. But I was like, no point trying to make lightweight in the space of three and a half weeks, I think it was. So, yeah, everything is falling into place with the weight cut, with energy level. Everything else is grand. Like, all the hard training is done now. So now just focus on maintaining and cutting the weight low, and yeah, be healthy on the scale and perform.
100%. And you talked about Stringer there when he came in. Like, talk to us about that. Was a fantastic fight. Like, he's been around a long time. He's very well known. He's very experienced. He's very good. Talk to us about that fight. He chewed up your leg a bit, but there was a lot of, like, it was very impressive from both sides. Obviously, you won the fight, but for him coming in, like, when you fight someone with that much experience and you defeat, like, you win the way you did, does that give you more confidence going forward into your next fight?
Yeah, definitely a confidence booster. But like, I know how hard I train. I know how hard I work, inside and outside the cage. And the thing is, I always take the hardest fights. Like, even in my amateur career, pro career, I always try and get the next step, the next level, I always try to improve and kind of get more game opponents. Like, obviously Chris was very, very experienced. He had over 30 fights. I knew he'd be a dangerous fight, but I was like, look, I know the level that I'm at. I know the level I need to be at. So just give me whoever. Like, so he accepted the fight after, I think it was like three different opponents. He accepted the fight, and yeah, look, big props to him. Like, as it takes two lads to tango. So we put on a hell of a show. Ended up getting fight of the night as well. So I was very pleased, like, with everything in that camp.
Yeah, it was good. Did you initially, straight after, obviously you're fighting for the lightweight belt now, did you tell them you were going down to lightweight? Was it something they offered you? Were you going to get a shot at welterweight, or was there any talks of that? Or was it because you'd gone to them? Or how did it work? Did you, like, because you've got the shot at lightweight, was it because you had told them you wanted to go down to lightweight for the next fight, and obviously that's a vacant belt?
Yeah, so what happened was I always said it to them that I'm gonna drop down to lightweight, and I made it public and to everyone really. I said this is my last fight welterweight before I drop down. Obviously, the welterweight title was vacant as well, so I got called up. I rostered him again to fight for that belt against him, but I was like, I'm after sparking you into a different dimension. Like, what's the point of fighting you again? So then I knew Akon Wanless was the champion on that promotion. So I wanted to fight for the lightweight strap. He got signed then to Octagon, so the belt became vacant. So obviously Aiden fought on that show beforehand, a lightweight and won, and then I won as well. So put two and two together, like you have a great fight for the fans, you know.
Yeah, no, it is. He's very experienced. Well, I just want to go circle back to something you said there. Your opponent called you out. The one that you sparked. Oh, what was the promotion? It was
H5 series.
yeah. So he called you back. Like for you to go and fight him again, there's no benefit to that because if you spark him, you should have sparked him again. If you've lost, if you potentially lose, then you've lost to someone you've sparked, and then it kind of sets you back. So, what was your reaction? Just like, no, that's not happening. Just
You know,
move on.
do you know what it is? I move on. Like if fair enough, if I would have bet it by a split decision or a poxy decision or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. Like we'll run it back again. But like when you get knocked out like that and you just, you know what I mean, you're still thinking it was a fluke, or should I say? But I showed everyone what I'm capable of doing and the power I bear at welterweight. So imagine what I'm gonna do at lightweight, you know?
I can imagine how your power is going to translate over because, like you said, at lightweight, you drop people, you can throw people. We've seen you throw people around with the judo. But with Aiden coming up, obviously he's a very experienced opponent. He's fought on Bellator, like I said, he's fought on multiple promotions. He won on levels the last time he's on, but he's actually coming off a loss coming into this. So, and you're coming on a 2-fight winning streak. So, do you think coming in off a loss does that make him less dangerous or more dangerous in your experience as a fighter?
Look, losses and wins, they mean nothing really when you have such amount of experience under your belt. Like, and obviously he fought at the highest level. He fought on Bellator. He challenged for the Cage Warriors belt. He fought on big promotions, so I know his experience. I don't really look at his losses and stuff like that. Obviously, I always look when I'm doing tape on my opponents and with Roddy and stuff like that. We always look at your wins, because at the end of the day, that's where you perform your best, is when you're winning. Obviously, you take a few notes on the losses and stuff like that, but I know he's hungry and I'm just as hungry as well. So we're just going to go in there and put it all on the line. If it takes 25 minutes, it takes 25 minutes. If not, it'll definitely be a finish between one of us.
Yeah, no, I think there will be a finish in the fight. It's a really, really good fight, I believe. Like that, two really good guys, and like that, you've come up. You're 7-2, and obviously the no contest. With him, he's got so many more. Do you find you keep getting put against these more experienced opponents? Because obviously on Inferno was the same, Chris and this, and is that because you're actively looking for the best all the time, and people who will propel you to the next level into big promotions, Bellator, UFC, Octagon? Is that what you're looking for? Do you pick these opponents? Like, do you get a list of opponents and pick the best one, or is it, or what way does it work?
No, look, I try and fight as much as I can. I'm trying to be as active as I can. Like, that's why I have Paul there that looks after like Paul, my manager, that looks after all these opportunities for me, and same with Roddy. So we just sit down before we decide on a fight or whatever. Be like, we have this name, this name, this name. Like, you could have about 5, 6 names. I can say yes to every single one of them, but then only one of them get back to me. Like, because there's a lot of padding records and bullshit like that. Like, well, I said it in so many interviews and I said it throughout my whole career. You are gonna eventually get found out if you don't take the hard fights and kind of like step up your game every single time. Do you know what I mean? No point fighting guys that are like 1-6 and stuff like that. That it just, there's no benefit to you. Like, because you're gonna get a shock, should I say, when you step up and then you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you see that quite a bit, and I obviously don't fight, but I don't understand that either because like that, you're gonna have to, if you want to get to the UFC, you're gonna have to fight good people, and like that, if you haven't fought good people to get there, I think there needs to be relevance though. You can't go in like when you're debuting, let's say, and against a 10-1 guy, someone that's 2-1, 1-1, 0-0, and kind of build similar records. Maybe they have a bit more to build up. If you look at even your amateur career, John Mitchell, Ian Gary, like you fought the best of the best. Do you think that helps you going into your pro career then?
Yeah, 100%. Like the thing is, you look at my amateur career. Like I was 9-5 in my amateur career, and sorry, 10-5 in my amateur career, and I was 9-1 in K1. But all those losses were against top guys in my amateur career, because I always said it in my amateur career, I'm preparing myself to go pro. So I'd rather make the mistakes here as an amateur and then transition them into pro and not do them. Obviously, there's different, like rules and stuff like that. When there's elbows and stuff, there's a lot to take from it. But if you don't take the hardest fights, especially amateur, you're not going to evolve going into being a professional, like, do you know what I mean? And then from signing pro, then right, these were the mistakes I was making in amateur, these, and you expand on them. Not just expand, but like you upskill yourself and get better, not to fuck up again, should I say,
Yeah, like that. You want to be in as many difficult positions as you can be, like different submission, like someone like coming from the back and fight them, defend them. Like, and if you make a mistake at amateur, right, I should have done this, this, and this, and you can work on it. Like I said, if you pad at amateur, with people that you're sparking first round, second round, that sort of way, you're not going to get any further. But hopefully it doesn't keep going. Obviously, I think in Ireland it's not so much. You see, obviously the likes of just your Conor McCarthy's, Max Lally's. They're actually finding difficulty getting fights because I think they're so high level. There's a couple of others as well. Throughout there too that spring to mind. Because obviously I've interviewed Conor recently. What do you look at with the amateur scene now coming up and with the likes? Because obviously you've trained with Conor and Max. The younger generation under you coming up, going into pro, there's more going into pro? What do you think of Irish MMA at the minute? Because obviously at the forefront you've got the likes of you and everyone else. But they're the next generation. What should people expect from this next generation?
Man, it's like Irish MMA scene is booming at the moment. Like I look at the Irish amateur scene, and they would smash half the pros in different countries. Like honestly, because the level of Irish MMA is so high, because we're such a small island. Like, do you know what I mean? That everyone is just everyone at this stage like is doing MMA. Do you know what I mean? And that McGregor era just kind of evolved into everyone else. Like everyone wants to be the next superstar, the next, do you know what I mean? And it's mad. Like I look at the levels amateur. Even went down to IUR there the last weekend, and looking at the talent, it's scary. It's scary. Like some of them, like I said, they could be 10 times better than half the pros from different countries. Like it's mad.
Yeah, it was a fantastic show. I was there as well, and that's a show that always puts on very good fights. There was a lot of good finishes, submissions, and like that. The shows here are just fantastic. But back to yourself, obviously, you've Aiden coming up, and we spoke previously. Have you put more plans to fight, or right now you're just concentrating on Aiden? That's it, is it?
Yeah, 100%. I'm taking one fight at a time. I'm not doing the same mistake that I've done when I was on the 5-win streak at that moment. Then I fought Roberto over in Inferno. I looked past them and all that stuff, because obviously when you're winning, everything is great, whatever. Ended up losing that fight and went into a very dark place. So I was like, you know what? I'm not looking past anyone ever again. And then since I've done that, I changed tweaked a few little stuff in my camp, not just my camp, but like my mental health. And now I'm on 2-win streak again. I'm aiming for a third one, but I'm definitely going to stay active this year. I want to have at least another fight around September, and then finish it off the year, maybe around November, December, and that's it. Then that's 5 fights this year,
Yeah, that'd be quite active. And you want to get one in before Christmas, because last time you started your camp during Christmas, I remember that last year, wasn't it? So
yeah.
I think you had a day to enjoy it and you were back. And you talked about the mental part of it there, that you went into a dark place. Do you think the mental side of fighting is overlooked in fighters, that they just think it's getting in there and scrapping? But I think there's a huge mental aspect of it, because there's more than just the fight. There's the environment of fight day, fight week, media, obviously, as you go into pro. Do you think that's overlooked by a lot of fighters, and you start looking at it more yourself now?
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, it's not more of fighters; it's more of the spectators and fans and stuff like that. Like they only see the performance on the night, but they don't see what happens behind closed doors, leading up to fights or camps or injuries or the diets you have to go through and the sacrifices and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like a fight isn't determined on one night. It's determined in a period of nearly 16-week camp or whatever camp everyone's on. Like, you know what I mean? But you need to be mentally prepared because everyone can throw a punch, everyone can take you down or whatever. But it's how you deal with those scenarios of, oh, am I gonna make weight? I need to be active and train. I need to be weekly, day in, day out. Do you know what I mean? There's so much aspects to it. Like it's not just one night, one fight. Fair enough, it looks great when you're in there knowing all the hard work is done, but there's so much more behind that.
Yeah, because the general public wouldn't realize. I speak to you and dozens, if not hundreds, of fighters in Ireland, obviously. So I kind of know what goes into, and it's not even just a 16-week camp. That's your life until then. That's however long you've been in it, since you were 10, since you were whatever. That is all that gone into it, and I think like that. I find, and we spoke about this before, I believe as well. You have a really small circle because I talked to a fighter before. He said I texted him after he lost because he was one of my first ever interviews. So I felt kind of, not obliged, but I felt bad. Like, you know, so I texted him. He goes, other than his family, I was the only person that texted him. And it's, you find that something. It's a very fickle sport, MMA, and that's why you do keep your small circle.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I remember when we done the MMA in depth, and I said it publicly, and I said it to everyone that, do you know what I mean? Everyone wants to get on the hype train. Everyone wants to be your friend when you're winning. But then when you're losing one fight, where's everyone else? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why I keep my circle small. I keep my friends, family, training partners close, and that's it. I don't need anyone else because I know what I have to go through day in, day out. My friends and family know what I'm going through and being an absolute miserable bastard when I'm in camp. But do you know what I mean? It has to be done.
Yeah. If you want to be the best and like that, I've seen you in training. I've talked to you behind the scenes. I know how much you go through, and every other fighter as well. And it's going to be a good fight. I can't wait to see the fight. Obviously, I couldn't get it off work. I said, can I have this in July? And they said, no, you can have the week before or week after. And I was like, you can't give me that week. So unfortunately, I won't be there. I'll be watching from home though. So we're going to put up a link as well. I want to thank you for joining. Is there anything you want to say before you go? Because it's been a while since you've been on. So is there anything you want to say or anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, just look, everyone just tune in. It's going to be live on Viaplay on the 9th of July. I'm the co-main event, so I'm looking to bring that lightweight strap back and cement my name in Europe, in the European circuit. Just big shout out to all my sponsors, friends, family that has been through with me through thick and thin. And yeah, just stay tuned, don't blink, and you're in for a treat.
I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. I think there's going to be a fantastic finish. I want to wish you the best of luck, best of skill going in. Your first time at lightweight. Obviously, the weight cutting all seems to be going fine. You look in good spirits. So I want to thank you for your time, and I can't wait to see you perform again. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you, Andreas.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.